President Trump's immigration crackdown has unleashed a firestorm here in the United States. The killing of a woman in Minneapolis has triggered outrage. The Trump administration's called the conduct in accordance with ICE training, while some call it a cold-blooded murder.
Now when she comes towards me, she got like blood all over her face. She get the crying and stuff in the snow, so now there's blood all in the snow in front of our house. And I could see a lady in the car.
The victim was a 37-year-old woman, Renee Nicole Good. She was working as a quote-unquote legal observer of immigration and custom enforcement activities in Minneapolis. But the Trump administration has called the case an act of domestic terrorism.
These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well.
The incident has sparked anger across the United States. Sharing a video of moments before the shooting, President Donald Trump called Nicole a professional agitator and accused her of running over an ICE officer. This raises a very important question. Some believe, what protection do citizens have if they feel threatened by ICE officers? Others are asking, to what extent can protesters prevent the work of ICE officers? The incident has triggered widespread protests in Minneapolis and New York. Residents of Minneapolis gathered and held a vigil near the site where Nicole Good was killed. People held placards saying, "Rest in power," and ICE out of Minneapolis. New York residents also came out on the streets. They held placards saying ICE is Trump's Gestapo, a reference to official political police force of Nazi Germany and German-occupied Europe from 1933 to 1945.
They're separating children. They're surveilling us. When is enough?
Reacting to the shooting, former Vice President Kamala Harris said Trump administration's explanation is a pure gaslighting. Ed Markey shared a video saying this should anger all Americans. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called ICE an occupying force. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey denied the government's allegations and called on ICE officers conducting a second day of mass raids to leave Minneapolis immediately. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called Trump's response to the incident a propaganda and vowed to deploy National Guards to protect citizens from ICE. ICE is tasked to act against illegal immigrants. Its functioning and operations has drawn widespread criticism, but the killing of a citizen on U.S. soil raises an important question on the limits and accountability of agency power. It also raises question once again, to what extent citizens can block the work of ICE agents. All right, joining us live on the broadcast is Eugene Craig III, a political analyst from Washington, D.C. Eugene, welcome back to WION. So there's an investigation going on. There are conflicting accounts regarding who was at fault. Nonetheless, unfortunately, a life has been lost. What do you make of the recent developments?
Look, it's the most unfortunate part here is that a life has been lost and lost at the hands of ICE, the Department of Homeland Security. Her rights were violated. The United States Constitution is supreme law of the land. And at the end of the day, right, no federal agent should just be, haphazardly firing their firearm. She was not a threat to them. I agree with former Vice President Harris. This administration is actively trying to gaslight the entire world on this incident and tell us that the video that we're all seeing, that we all have seen before our own eyes, is a lie. But at the end of the day, right, this is a problem caused by the federal government with their crackdowns, with their overuse of force. I mean, they deployed 2,000, a joint force of 2,000 units within Minneapolis and Minnesota, which is unnecessary. There are ways that they can actually deal with immigration and curb illegal immigration. One of the most civil ways to do it is actually deal with the employers of illegal immigrants. But that's not something that this administration is actually interested in because it doesn't play well to their base and doesn't look good clip wise and social media wise for their base. But a woman's life was lost. And at the end of the day, that officer needs to be held 100% accountable. And I hope that, Minneapolis, Minnesota, holds him accountable at the state side because I doubt he'll do any accountability at the federal level.
Eugene, there are different ways of interpreting that video, as you know, and it's just no secret that America cannot be more divided on immigration and the enforcement of immigration laws and regulations. How do you see the comments by officials that are calling on ICE to leave and also, calling on people to express their anger? Do you think this fans the flames of more incidents like this, or should they be calling for calm?
Well, the thing is this, right? I've seen leaders call for calm and not give Trump an excuse to do things like invoke the Insurrection Act. But at the end of the day, right here in America, the First Amendment protects your right to petition your government, your right to assembly. And just because also somebody, an officer deems an assembly not peaceful doesn't make it not peaceful. But you have a right to protest here. And, what ICE is doing is violating not just rights of folk that may be here, undocumented, but also violating rights of American citizens. They've deported United States citizens and had to bring them back. They've now murdered United States citizens trying to, quote unquote, carry out this mission. They're violating people's rights every single day because largely they're not trained to deal with the public in this fashion. So, the United States Constitution, is a supreme law of the land. And, the federal government, from Donald Trump down to every ICE agent or CBP agent on the ground, needs to respect, people's rights when engaging with the public.
Okay, Eugene Craig III, thank you so much for joining us. I look
you.
forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Appreciate it.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.